Okay, guys. So I have to cut off the part three of when I was having a conversation with you guys. This is to continue the part three. So this is the part four on the continuing touring up my car in December 2017. Um, this is right after Christmas, about 2 3 days, and so back to what I was saying about my 98 Eclipse here. The whole situation before and after. Right now, after the car's been towed, and I think I've spoken enough about the towing part. Just remember, if next time, if some of you guys out there needs to tow a car when a car break down the street, make sure you know someone at that time, like knowing some tow car companies, like will tow your car for a low price. Uh, because most of the car company towing cars right now are taking around 85 to $100 at least to tow a car. If you know a friend or someone that can tow for free or for about $50, that's great. 40, $50 and $60 tow car rates is changing. That's like 10 years ago or so. That's like more than 5 years ago. Now it's pretty much anywhere like a big city. Toll will be like $100 minimum to tow your car. Okay, um, within the city. Okay, so I pay 130. That's not really much. At least I know I'm uh, safely and comfortable with what I'm doing, and I was safely taking home, and my car was safely towed home. Towing my car is a little problem when he towed my car. Luckily, my car wasn't low. Only have the body kit, as you guys can see. So the front bumper kit was kind of low because it's a body kit. So when he towed it, he had to hook a strap from underneath here and trying to get it up to a flatbed. And he needs that plywood. I mean, he needs the wood board. So my car is kind of low, so it can go up because my car was, the body kit makes it look low. So he did use two wood board on both sides, and the kit was kind of bent up a little bit, just a little bit, but it wasn't much. It's pretty much like the strap chain bend up a little bit. I can see it move, like I can see my body kit was moving up a little bit, but it wasn't damaged or anything. So I guess this is the right height for my body kits, so I wouldn't need to lower the car anymore. If I lower my car any lower than this, then they might have a problem towing my car. So I wouldn't recommend any lower. If I do lower it, um, maybe about half inch, but it's not necessary to lower like that. And the body kit's just looking nice. You don't need to low. I don't need to lower anything. Just the body kit will be perfect. But other than that, if I'm gonna lower, like for this condition, like I'm just gonna have air on it, so I can move up and down whenever I feel like it. So anyway, I don't know. It's off the subject. Okay, I'm back to the engine. Okay. So after a few days, after that, I'm still pretty busy. I have like show to go, work to do, home works, outside community works, and I got to meet up with some of my friends too to do some production works and going to some show. I'll have a show coming up this weekend. I'm going out of town. I'll be in Virginia for like 2 days or so, but that's just from hearing my friend end. So I don't know how it's gonna end up. I'm gonna go to like a big concert show, and I might will sing there with my friend, but who knows? Whatever comes, it comes. Okay. So I'll probably be singing with the band. It's like a New Year countdown. So we're having a big New Year countdown for like our Vietnamese big band in Virginia. I know friends that They'll have a band playing in New Year Countdown in Virginia, and pretty much it's gonna be in like a big concert building or so. But anyway, that's like 6 hour drive away, 4 hours at least. So I did it before, and I'm probably gonna do it again. Okay, so that was out of the subject. Okay, I'm I'm really gonna have to go back to talk about my '98 Eclipse here, about the breakdown, how it is, and what I'm gonna do at this point, and everything, all that. Okay, um, before I end this video, and probably not gonna upload it again until I have good news about it, like after I checked it and all that. So after a few days I've parked here, and I had to come out to check on that day too. Firstly, I'll check is the battery, because like with all the research why the car is breaking down, what's causing the cars breaking down, the number one when you search on Google, so everyone's gonna say check your battery, right? Battery. See if you have batteries. See if you have power inside the car to have electricity. Electrical issue, maybe. But that's the number one thing I'll check is my battery. So the first few days, I checked it. Like I say, I checked it. This is a used battery, and I checked it with this multimedia, and it run up to about roughly 12.3. Okay, so I'm assuming that's kind of low. Okay, without turning the key on, and I'm testing the battery, and it's only 12.3, right? So that's pretty low. And if you want to know your battery is good or not, I mean I kind of did not fully research on my car why it's dying and all that, but at least I know a basic about my car engine why it's dying. Okay, just like everybody else. So I kind of researched a little bit and did find out to check my battery at first. So if you want to really know if your battery is good or not, I know this is a used old one, but if you want to know if your battery is good or not, turn on your headlights. Don't turn on the engine, just turn on your headlights. And like I did, turn on my headlights and use the multimeter and set it to DCV 20 volt to check for DVC 20, okay? To check for battery voltage. See if it's around 12.8 or even more. That's even better if you have 12.6 or more, or 12.4 or more. I believe it's like 12.4 or 4.8 to be exactly good, to have a good battery. So if you want to really know, turn on the headlights and then use the multimeter, set it to DCV 20 volts, and have uh, the red plant to the positive and the black to the ground on the battery right there. Okay, and then we'll be able to check, see how many volt is reading. I check mine with the headlights on. Without the headlights, it'll be 12.4, I believe, 12.4 when I checked it. And then when I turn on my headlights, and then I check the battery with my multimeter, it's 12.2. So it's drawing, after I turn on the headlights. But I don't know, I might be mistaken, because I didn't really check about the headlight parts until like I really searched and find out in Google. And so right after that, of course, my battery, draw down, and I have to like bring the battery to AutoZone to have them check. Even though I didn't buy the battery from AutoZone. I bought it from like a battery replacement place, and it's been like 6 months warranty already, and this battery I bought like a year already, so it's out of warranty. If I bring it back, I'll have to pay like at least $30 or 25 to have them maintain it again and charge it. But I didn't want to go there. I went straight to AutoZone and brought the battery. I took the positive and negative out, and I just bought the battery to AutoZone. Have them charge for like an hour. First they check the battery. It's good to charge, but it's around 12 point. So I'm assuming it's kind of is low, and I'm assuming that's why my car wouldn't start up because of that. And it could be any other things too. Okay, it could be number of things that goes wrong. That's why my car engine is not starting up right. So firstly, I bought the battery to AutoZone, have them check and charge for like an hour. It'll be able to charge up to 12.9 volt, guys. That was pretty good when I after I charged at the AutoZone. I brought it home. I don't know why I didn't really hook it up when I brought it home. I just put it in there. I went in and kind of rest. And like a few hours later at that night, I went out and connect these again back on again. And I checked it with the multimeter to see if it's still at 12.9. But obviously it went down to 12.8 or 12.7. I forgot. But it went down to 12.7 or 12.8 volts. So I was kind of, you know, I didn't really like it because, I wanted to have at the 12.9 states, after I charged from AutoZone, but it went down to 12.6, I mean 12.7 or 8. So I went ahead and started up. And it started up for like a second or two, and then the car just shut down. And when it start up, it does have some hard time to start up because remember I told you about this area having smoke comes up. The starting I can feel is is like it's like something grinding and it's trying to start. It's trying to spin like something spinning like all I can think was is the starter that's trying to spin the flywheel of the clutch. That's why it wouldn't want to start. And when it starts, and then it dies. And guys, before that, when I bought the car home, when the car was towed home, I did check on that part. I mean, I started many times, and I know I shouldn't do that. You shouldn't start like too many times at once. Whenever you start it, you wait for like another minute, and then you start it, or else you're gonna burn something in the starter or your engine. That's not good for your ignition. So that's why I find out after that. So I didn't really start too many times at once. But before that, when I tested started, I did hear clicking from the starter. Now, before I heard clicking from the starter solenoid. The starter solenoid is inside of the car. It's in there, okay? Once in a while, I tap it, and I did got a hammer to tap my starter and the solenoid here too. But this time it didn't work anymore. See, this happened like months ago. When I tap it, it works. So the car has issue of starting long time ago. Okay. So to me, I'm thinking I have bad parts on my car. It's either like starter or alternator or my battery is old and it just needs a replacement. It could be even worse. It could be like something else like my EGR is old, it needs to replace. My air infuse is not correctly, my air filter or I mean my fuel filter or my fuel pump could be goes out, and it could be anything on top of the engine. From distributor to throttle body, my manifold, I don't think anything wrong with my manifold. It's not like that clogged, but it could be my throttle body up here that's really clogged, and I would need new hoses. Like these hose, I'm gonna tell you a little bit about the hose here, the air hose. This air hose here, I took the air intake out before, and I didn't really install it correctly. Like it needs to be in here, and it's okay. Some people say it's okay like this, but I still need clamps on both sides. And at one point, I think I broke this piece right here. I broke this intake piece, but it's just a little bit broken. I don't know if that's causing the air to, not moving in and out, but it's not really bad. Like you can't really tell if it's cracked because there is a crack right here. Because I have when I pry this hose out, I did have a feeling that it's cracking. So it's got to crack somewhere around here. So I might need a new air intake. I hate to lose my stock intake, but I'm gonna have to buy me a new air intake sometime soon after the rebuild, after the tune-up. I mean, so I'm gonna see if it's really the air intake that hasn't a crack that's causing my air leaks. So I might have air leaks, and on this hose right here too is old. So I needed to replace this hose. See this? It's wiggling. I mean, this hole is losing. So it's getting too old and it's big for this throttle body hose here. I did clamp it good, but you know the hole is just still wiggling. So I'm gonna have to replace some holes right there too um, after the tune up. And at this point, I still don't know what caused it. seems like I have old stock parts, so I'm gonna have to replace some of the old parts. As far as I know, I will need to replace uh, the batteries. Got that problems about the smoke. It has to be the starter or the solenoid not picking up power to start it, or my clutch is going out. That's why there's a smoke, and I smell the smoke. It has a different smell. It's not like oil burn smell, you know. It's kind of like clutch goes out that burns, or the teeth of the starter grinding with the flywheel teeth and it's burning, and the starter teeth and the flywheel teeth might be cracking and torn up right now because of that. They could be broken. Some teeth might be broken, and it could be my transmission that goes out. Now it all start from my VSS, my vehicle speed sensor. That when I drop the speed sensor gear down to the transmission, and the plastic gear is still floating around my transmission oil, and it's probably clogged up with the gear right now. That's why it goes out, you know. That's why my car broke down. It could be that's causing the problem the whole time, the whole entire time. I mean, my car engine right now, I mean, it's a rebuild. It's like new, but it has so many problems, you know. Like I just want to give up at some time. I just want to give up, you know, like trash this car away. But if I think about it, if I do it, I wouldn't be able to continue um, my auto mechanic you know life, and my auto mechanic I wouldn't be able to experience and learn anything more if I trash this car. It's like I'm giving up, you know. So I won't give up. I'm still keeping it, and I will still rebuilding it and tuning it up and find out what's the real problem. And I could learn so many things about it, you know, because you know life is like all about learning. Your knowledge, you know, it'll never stop. You know, I mean, we'll never stop learning. So I'm gonna keep on learning and trying to get my master on it. Um, But anyway, like I said, the engines has so many problems. Like it could be uh, under my valve cover, the uh, the rocker arms. Okay, now I find out it's the rocker arms that lay on top of the lifter. It could be one of it could be my the rocker arms that losing or breaking or whatever that's making the real loud tapping noise, or it could be my lifter that's clogged. All the lifter hoses look like a bullets. The hose in the middle is probably clogged up, and it's not shooting any oil to the rocker arms. It's causing making noise and all that. Could be my oil gallery is clogged up. Could be my oil pump is going out. Could be my water pump is going out. I mean, it could be anything really at this point. I checked my timing belt. Like I say, there's no oil leaks on there. And the thing I find kind of weird is after my third oil change just a week ago, the oil stopped leaks. So I don't know what happened, why it stops the leaks. But that's a good news, I guess. But on the good news, causing my engine to break down. So I don't know what's really the issue is, and you gotta tell me what's the issue. And I'm gonna tell you more about what could happen is my throttle body is so dirty. It needs to replace all the gasket. It needs to clean. Some sensor might be goes out. My distributor might be bad. My spark plug wire and the spark plug. At this time, I need to check on a lot of things, guys. My spark plug is still old. I need to take it out and check on it, and I can replace the newer spark plug too, because right now I'm running old spark plug, which I shouldn't, and spark plug wire and distributor might be old, so I have to use some of the tool like multimeter tools to test sensor, testing relay. So next I'm gonna do is test the starter relay, see if the starter relay is working or not, and then check on the starter relay wire that goes to the battery, that goes to the main ECU and then go down to the starter. I'm gonna have to check all the wirings and the holes, see anything crappy, sees anything, uh, cracking or whatever that's causing the start up. Um, I'm gonna have to use multimeter to check on all the relays and the fuse too. I've been using this to check the fuse. The fuse box on the top here, under the hood here, there's like two that's not lighting up, which is not really a big problem because what's not lighting up is something not not need to mention. Um, and it could be my harness wire is bad, is old, and some of the wire is corroded or so. When I'm diagnosing, I'm gonna diagnose down to the roots. What could happen, and like I say, I might need new harness wire, new sets of harness wires, and harness wire is not cheap, guys. I can find Miller in Kannapolis. All they do is sell DSM, Mitsubishi parts, so I can just get a harness wire from them for like $200 with shipping, maybe. Cause I'm not spending $1,000 for a brand new harness wire from Mitsubishi. Okay, forget that. If I do find out my harness wire is corroded, I'm saying corroded like most of them are bad, then I'll probably buy me new harness wire from Miller in Kannapolis. So talk about harness wire could be corroded, and I did use my tester to test. There's a few box under inside the car in the interior. I'm gonna let you guys see it here while I'm here. Um, there it is. That's the fuel box. And I check on it. I didn't bring my cover. I got my cover inside of my house. But anyway, the fuel box cover, I find out what's not lighting up. Uh, there's like three or four things that's not lighting up. Even though I check my fuse, the fuse is good. It could be my fuse is old and bad, but it just looked good on the outside, but it could be bad on the inside, right? And it could be my harness wiring running from that fuse inside out here. The wires are corroded or bad, so I have to like I have to like inspect all of that. And I saw like four fuse in there. The lights not popping up. The lights not goes up because um, I don't know. But the fourth thing that doesn't goes up is like the windshield wiper. So that's not a problem. The tail light, some reason like the backup light, that's not really a problem why the car is not running. One thing I want to mention is the few lights inside when I check, ECM or ELC, it's something about electrical. That electrical fuse doesn't light up. And before that, my car didn't start because that fuse was popping. And when I replaced that one fuse, my car started up. But now, that fuse seemed fine. I don't think that's really the problem. Okay? It could be. You gotta tell me. I didn't really fully research about that fuse, the ECL or ELC fuse inside of your interior fuse box that goes out, pop and blow once in a while. Is that got to do something with electrical, like the harness wire, or you got to do something with like a fuel pump or fuel filter fuse? Tell me what kind of electrical is that. It could be that main reason why it goes out. This time the fuel doesn't blow, but the component is broken down. Like for instance, if I find out that ELC fuse is for the fuel pump, then now the fuel pump probably goes out. It's bad, and it doesn't pop a fuse. Right now it's just dead. It don't want to pop a fuse anymore like before. So either you gotta tell me, or I'm gonna have to do a fully research about that ELC fuel line in the fuel box in my uh, interior fuel box there. I need to find out what kind of harness wire is that, what electrical wire is that. I heard it's about electrical. It could be electrical, the main electrical that goes right into this power box, the main ECM right here, ECU, whatever you want to call it, the main power source right here. Some people call it the ECU. Some people call it like the main power. Uh, component, whatever. It's a computer chip for my engine, okay? I don't know why they put it on the outside, but this is not a really good spot to put on the outside. As I mentioned before, this is not a good spot to put anything related with computer, okay? And this might go bad too because water gets in here. And look, I got the ground wire right there onto something. What kind of ground wire is this? I forgot. But I do have water goes down here, and it could be wet, okay? And whenever it's raining or wash my car, water goes down here. So when I block when I block the waters, I didn't really realize that the water can still drain down because of the gap right here. You see that? So I'm gonna have to put some shield to some big shield to cover so water can drain in when I shut the hood down. Because right now, when I shut the hood down, I still see a gap right here between this and this. Okay? So I'm gonna have to put a thicker on both sides. This side over here, yeah. I mean, still water can still drain down to one of the electrical components. So especially this side over here, because it's the battery side and the computer side. So I'm thinking maybe this computer chip is dead too because of that. So my electrical is bad too. Probably. I don't know at this point, but I'm definitely gonna have to cover those corners up once I'm done with my car. Uh, so yeah. So you won't really tell until you drop the hood down and kind of look this way, then you find out there's a gap. So try to cover that gap up if you don't want any water to come down into your engine um, bay, okay? I mean, I'm gonna have to do that soon or later. Another thing is my starter mic goes out because I don't have an inside shield. I do have an outside shield, but I don't have an inside shield. I took it off. That's a bad thing. I should have installed it in because the inside shield will cover my starter. You see that? Makes my starter like so hot that it probably fell because it's next to the engine block and the heads, and it's so hot. And even though I have a fan right here, but it's not enough. I only got one fan. This side of the fan I don't have because you guys already know why my car don't have a second fan. Okay, and it could be that because I don't have a second fan makes my engine always overheating, and that's not good. So if I do have the time, if I do invest in my engine again, I'm gonna have to buy me a thinner fan later on to install right here so it can blow my motor so all this component won't get so hot. Okay, it could be that. But my thermostat for the radiator inside my car never shows up hot. It's always stay in the middle. So I know my radiator and all is don't get hot. Okay, probably in this side over here probably get hot, but not on this side because I do have a fan right here. So I don't think that's a problem. I think this is something got to do with air fuse or relay or sensor. One of the relay or one of the sensor that's dying, that goes out, and could be a number of things like I mentioned about the starter and the clutch and the transmission. So I'm gonna have to diagnose and test individual first step by step. What's need to check first, like what's the cheapest way I can check first, like checking my battery, make sure my battery is good, take it to charger or get a new battery if I have to. Next, second thing is before I take out my starter and have it check on my alternator. Yeah, it could be my alternator too because my alternator is full of oil. Because you do know I have an oil leaks and my alternator is back here, and oil leaks back there too. And it's like my alternator is like it does have oil, okay? It does have oil around the alternator, and I need to make a shield for my alternator too. That's what I'm planning to do, making a shield for my alternator in the back so oil, if I do have an oil leaks, it won't hit my alternator. And I'm gonna have to test my alternator too. Okay, my alternator could be bad dying. That's why it's not pulling the trick to charge my battery and crank up my battery and and turn my the starter. So it could be the alternator is bad too. So I'm gonna have to inspect one by one and do step by step whatever the cheapest and the fastest and the easiest way first. The first thing I'll do is I already know my battery is pretty good to start up. So the very next thing I'll do is check the starter relay, check on the relays, see if they have continuing, and then check on the fuse box. If I can't do much with the fuse box, because I know I have new fuse, good fuse, I don't know why, some of the fuse didn't light up. So I have to do some research about that too. If I get into the fuse part on the harness electrical part, I'm gonna have to find out, see if anything corroded, and I probably have to replace it. And replacing one of the harness is a pain. Okay, it's not easy, guys. I've redone my whole harness wire before. I know how it took a while. Okay, and it could be me redoing the harness wire not so good, because some harness wire I put it like next to the engine and it's get hot over time, and it could be frying some of the engine harness could be frying, I didn't really, I mean, I did a good job, but it seems like it's not in place. I still need to claim on right, and some harness is not going to the right direction. That's it's next to the engine and it's causing the heat, and the heat causing it to crack down or whatever. So, man, it could be a lot of things, and I'm gonna find out what's the real problem. I'm gonna fix it. Yeah, no matter what. I mean, that's how you learn. And who knows, I might be better after this car, with my mechanic skill might be better, way better after this, who knows. And then cars after cars, rebuild after cars, and the more car I works on engine, the more engine I work on, the better I'm gonna be. I know that, just like everyone else does. See how smart they are too, um, and see how smart they are, and how uh, how hard they work. Gotta keep constantly work and study and learn. Um, so that's the next thing I'm gonna do, guys. Wow, this video is getting long. I mean, my story are long, guys. So if you don't mind, some of you guys don't mind, um, if you guys still here, listen to me talking and learning from me too, and I don't mind people sharing the comments and tell me what's going on. Okay, guys. So if you guys watching, what's going on. Let me know below. Okay, um, because it's taking too long for me to fix my car. I mean, I know a lot of people say throw this piece of away, um, junk it away, but hey, it's one of my projects, so can't really do that. And I like it. I like to keep it. I mean, I like the car too. And the engine just rebuilt within a year. So there's no way the engine is bad, okay? It's gotta be some components, fuel filter, fuel pump, or whatever, some things like that. Um, so that's a very, very next thing I would do after I check my battery is good. Then I check all the relays, make sure all the relays have continuity, and check all the fuse. If the fuse got that problem, then I'm gonna have to get me new harness wires. So talk about harness wire, I'm gonna have to check this computer chip too. So that's a lot of work to do. And just right after that, skipping the fuse part and the harness electrical part, I'm gonna have to jack my car up. That's the very next thing I'll do is jack my car up and then turn my crank. See if my engine is seized or not. That's the very next thing. That's a smart thing. The next thing I should do, or anyone else should do, is go down there, jack your car up, and spin counter. You got to spin the right way on your crank. Okay, make sure you know which way you can turn crank your engine crank. Okay, spin it, see if it's spin, if it's the crank is moving, it's turning. If it's not turning, your engine is seized. Okay, now after I check that and it spins, then I'm gonna go straight to the valve cover, you know and take out my valve cover and inspect all the things below the valve cover, like rocker arms, all that, see if anything missing or cracking, bearings, and then I'll go down there in my engine block. Um, I'm gonna have to put down my exhaust and unbolt all of my unbolt the oil pan bolt and checking down all my piston, all the you know the rods, see anything cracking or missing or any bolts loosing or missing. Um, and then that's how I would inspect right after that, you know. And after that, if everything seemed fine, then I'm pretty sure it's something else like starter and alternator or the clutch, or it could be the transmission. So and again, I need to check my transmission fluid too. So while I'm down there, I can go ahead and check my transmission fluid, see if I do have transmission fluid. Uh, Transmission fluid might be leaks, and all my transmission fluid is gone. You know, who knows? So that's what I'm gonna do while I'm down there, and and then right after that, I can go ahead, after I inspect all that, I can go ahead and tear out my motor, like, take out my valve cover to check and oil pan, take it down to check. And after that, everything seems good. Then I know I'm gonna need to replace, if I need to replace the starter, then I'm gonna take out my starter and my alternator and check on it before I bring it to AutoZone, have them check it before I'll buy a new alternator or a new starter. Okay, but I'm pretty sure it's around the starter. It's either starter that's bad, or the clutch inside the clutch, or the transmission is bad. Cause the smoke, that's where the smoke coming from, and that's what's causing it. That's the beginning of the problem is the smoke coming up from there. So I'm gonna look more into this part right there, the starter, the clutch, and the transmission. Okay, right at this time, I'm not gonna do anything with fuse and hose line and all that. I mean, at some point, I'm gonna have to buy me new hose and all that, good clams, and probably get me a new battery too. After I check my starter and all that, and that's how and what I would inspect, guys. All right. I'm I'm going to update uh, on my car's tune up. That's my car broke down. I'm gonna update. So the next update won't be a part 5, okay? Because this is a part 4. Next update, I'll make a different title. It'll be a video one on another different title, okay? So that's it, guys. I'm glad that it's safely parked here, and I'm gonna have to work on my engine while it's down here like this guy. I mean, it's not so bad. You know, it's not too quick. It's a little bit low on this side, a little bit low on this side, so I'm gonna have a problem with the jack, but not so much. See, kind of slanting on this side a little bit, but I think I can do it. uh have the jack down here, and the best thing is I push it out a little bit so I have more space for the jack. So I will continue updating my 98 Mitsubishi Eclipse GS tune up within a week or so. I'll be busy and it's so cold this week. I might not do anything on my car this week, but